Okay, so that was master teacher music, you could say. You can find him in the videos, and he was playing it all the time. So I had like, okay, that's a great warming up for today to bring that in as joyful. And so I'm happy that you're here. Thank you so much for joining today in the master teacher tape group. And we're going to listen to a joyful tape later on. And before that, we will have a moment with the meditation. We use this meditation this afternoon, for me at least, also. And so I want to bring it back in because it's really beautiful. And so suited on this day of ascension. So let's start with that. I am your resurrection and your life. I am your resurrection and your life. You live in me because you live in God. And everyone lives in you, as you live in everyone. Can you then perceive unworthiness in a brother and not perceive it in yourself? And can you perceive it in yourself and not perceive it in God? Believe in the resurrection, because it has been accomplished, and it has been accomplished in you. This is as true now as it ever will be, for the resurrection is the will of God, which knows no time and no exceptions. But make no exceptions yourself, or you will not perceive what has been accomplished for you. For we ascend unto the Father together, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be. For such is the nature of God's Son, as his Father created him. So this is a beautiful, say, Ascension prayer for today, on Ascension Day. At least it's like a national holiday in Holland. And so I think it's great to see that the resurrection is already yours. Like this is given. It is happening in you, and you wanna become completely aware of it. Now this is of course where Master Teacher teaches all the time, like specifically in this area. Like you have basically lost yourself in human identity, in ideas about yourself, in opinions, in concerns about yourself, thinking in terms of time, space, relationships, and all this. And now, say, coming into a certain place in your mind where you discover, like, this isn't it, and this story doesn't fly. This cannot be it. If there's a place of limitation, of pain and sickness and death, that cannot be it. There must be something else. And then the next steps is like recognizing what it actually is you're holding on to. Recognizing that anything that you consider for yourself is what you think that you are. So you're going to identify with it, whether you're aware of it or not. Now this whole procedure that we're entering into, like all the time in these meetings, of course, but it's like here it happens that you have an opportunity to be dislodged from this limitation, from this definition of yourself, from the way that you see yourself, from the way that you are concerned about your circumstances, from the way that you think like, this is how it is for me, this is my life, this is where I need to deal with, and this is exactly where you're going to be set free of. But you cannot do that yourself. We know this very well. It's like you cannot do this yourself, otherwise you would have. So there's a necessity for an intercession. And this is really where this is about today. It's like there's an intercession for your holiness. You forgot who you are, and you are badly taught. Like you really are badly taught. You really think that you're this thing walking around in limitation, having ideas about itself, having opinions about itself, having excuses, having defenses, having attacking. It's like fishes. It is whatever it is that you made of yourself. Introducing ideas as guilt, as sin, as separation, as hatred. It's like these are the inventions of human mind. You can only respond, or you can only, say, develop these ideas when you certainly are not at home. So you can say, like, everything that's occurring here that Master Teacher is teaching you has everything to do from dislodging yourself, from the necessity to defend yourself, from the necessity to say, be happy enough with your definitions of yourself so that you have an okay life. This is really essential. Now, there's a lot in the way. First of all, like there's a lot of in the way. There's obstacles to your peace of mind, and these obstacles in this tape, the obstacles like 3 and 4 from the 4 obstacles to peace that are stated in the Course in Miracles. So 3 and 4 are what Master Teacher uses here. You can look it up in chapter 18, I think it is. It's like the obstacles to peace is really essential. So we always say, use one of the 4 in the meetings. It's like it's almost inevitable that you're going to use them because it's literally where the ties are found. Addiction, like the addiction to death, the fear of death, valuing the body for what you think it is, trying to not get in touch with peace, trying to do your best not to be peaceful is one of the obstacles to peace. And you say, like, well, I'm not doing that. It's like, well, here you have it. Now you do it immediately by defending yourself. Why would you say anything if you have no necessity to defend yourself? Like this. So it's like you step into it without knowing it, is what I'm saying. It's like you step so easily into these things and you're not aware of them. Even if you study A Course in Miracles, like here in this tape, Master Teacher uses Mr. Perry. Perry wrote some books in A Course in Miracles. Robert Perry is his name. But he talks with an idea of opinion, as if he is something in himself, in the definitions of himself. He is something, and now he's going to tell you about it. Not so. It's like that is, then you don't know what A Course in Miracles is. This is how it's being said here in the talk. But anyway, we're going to take a look at some expressions. Like after half an hour, this is about 24 minutes, I started to make some transcript of what Master Teacher is saying, and we're using that here in this specific meeting. Why you need an intercession. That sounds like a real intercession. Wow. Now here I found this. I didn't put it in the PDF that I shared, but this is like one of the miracle principles. And I love to bring this one in because, in fact, this is, one of the classics of miracle principles. Christ inspires all miracles, which are essentially intercessions. They intercede for man's holiness and make him holy. They place man beyond physical laws and raise them into the sphere of celestial order. In this order, man is perfect. So Christ inspires all miracles, which are essentially really intercessions. They intercede for man's holiness. It's like this is your lifeline. This is your safety. It pulls you out of the smuck and dairy of your mind, you could say, and brings you into, say, beyond the physical laws and raise you up into the sphere of celestial order. Put you right in front of the door to heaven. In this order, man is perfect. Now, of course, yes. Celestial order, you were created whole and perfect. So this is really something else. Now this I'm going to stand still with it for just a second, because the essential thing for me in this is like the way that you see yourself, whether you think you're doing great or whether not, it doesn't matter. Like the way you see yourself in this definition of yourself, as you see, it's like the one with the name, that is you, misses the point. Like the intercession needs to happen first, like you have to be raised into a sphere of celestial order by the miracle in order to experience something that has any reality. I'm saying this very bluntly and very clearly. It's like that is exactly where something real happens. On this superficial physical level of understanding, of interaction, of reaction, action, reaction, of opposites, of good and bad, and you know what. It's like that's exactly the place where in fact nothing happens. So to be lifted out of it brings you into the sphere of celestial order. Now this is where you dedicate your life to, doing A Course in Miracles. Like that isn't happening, that is given to you. Now, if that doesn't happen, something went wrong. It's one of the principles too. It's like if miracles don't happen, then something went wrong. There's no one to be pointed at, like you didn't do it right. No, something went wrong when you don't experience that, because you literally are staying in a physical sphere instead of the celestial sphere in which you are perfect. Now this is an experience, that's all. It's like you can shift into that, just like that. It can happen right now. And like this is a very good moment to let it happen, because it's not going to happen tomorrow. You're open to the miracle now, or you're never going to be open to the miracle. So it's like There's no force to that, but it's simply how it works. Now, there are a lot of things that you don't know that you think like, yeah, I would love to. If you say, I would love to experience a miracle, is not asking for it. It can take forever before that happens. No, you have to ask for it. Like that's an active step in your mind that you are opening up for it. And allow this intercession to take place, because it only takes place by your say approval of it, by you saying, yes, I want that. Not that you do it, but you have to be open to receive it and say like, yes, I approve, like, yes, I want that. I'm open to it, to receive that now. So this is from the joyful lucidity of the light of love. That's very light. Lucidity of the light of love. The joyful lucidity of the light of love. Remembering heaven. See, this miracle principle fits in just fine. And it's taking place in Sedona, Arizona. But that doesn't really matter where it takes place. It doesn't take place in Arizona. It does not. It can only take place in you. So here's already like, if you would pin it down to a certain location, you're missing it. A reflection. And here we go. We step into, I think, 24 minutes or so in the talk. A reflection of the original thought. This is the idea. You've been a liar from the beginning. Dumb, evil one, you're a liar from the beginning. And this idea of liar comes from 1 John 2. Who is a liar but he who denies that God is the Christ? He is Antichrist who denies the Father and the Son. A reflection of the original thought. Oh yeah, so we did this. I'm doing it right out of the book simply because the thought you originally had is gone, which was the projection that brought you outside. See, a reflection of the original thought that you had, it is a reflection. What is a reflection? What you perceive is a reflection of an idea that you had. Now you're going, what you see with your eyes, you use that, in fact, to establish an idea about yourself, or what you think your position must be, or how your response must be. But that idea is gone. Now this projection that you see is gone too. Like, basically we're doing the first 7 lessons of A Course in Miracles here. It's like, no, my thoughts do not mean anything. They are like the things in the room. No, it's like this is over. What I'm perceiving, I see only the past. What is the past? The past is over. It can touch you not, and it has nothing to do with anything. It is just a reflection. The things that you're seeing is just a reflection of what you are seeing and what you thought a moment ago. But that's also gone. Now, what have you got? You get the reflection back, and it comes back to what's already gone. Now it lives in its association of its own perceptual thought. Could you hear that? I'll repeat. You get the reflection back from what you just thought, and it comes back to what's already gone. Now it lives in its association of its own perceptual thought. Like you see it, and now you think something about it, about what you see. You see something, and you have an idea about it too. So you have an idea about something that's already over, and you think you have to take that serious. Could you hear that? Answer me. I'm asking you a question. Could you hear what I said? Don't defend your ass. I'm just talking to you. I understand that you're doing that. That isn't hard. I know you're doing that. Isn't that funny? And what are you doing? Defending. I know you're defending. And I know that you're picking up the reflections and make of it a construct, a thought construct from what you perceive. This is how you create a drama, you could say. Now here is how easily it is solved. What power are you using to do this, what you just did? The universal power. No or yes. The beingness of you, right? I mean, this is all the Course is full of it. This is all. The Course is full of it. You can't deny who you are. Everything is one single power, isn't it? Yes, so you use that power, right, to live, to formulate your conceptual reality and live between your thoughts. See, this is what you do. It's like you collect thoughts and keep them alive by confirming them about yourself, about everything else. That's why you have a world. It's like in that you use the universal power of God, the beingness of you, in fact, to project something outside yourself, and you call it your world. But it's like, yeah, you use all the power in the universe for that, to make that real for yourself. And you live between your thoughts. And this is the ego. See how simple the solution is if you actually looked at this? You will solve your problem. I'll save you 10,000 years. And of course, Jesus says, your problem is your preoccupation with your historic reference of yourself. It couldn't possibly be real because God is not an association of thoughts. God is not an opinion, is he? Answer me. Your problem is your preoccupation with your historic reference of yourself, to yourself. It couldn't possibly be real because God is not an association of thoughts. See, this is what Master Teacher uses a lot, like the whole idea of associations of thought. So this is literally your world. You associate your world. Literally, your mind is making it up as it goes and confirms the parts that it wants to keep, and other parts will disappear. Like what it values, it sees. And this construct is an association of thoughts, but it has nothing to do with reality because God is not an association of thoughts. That is all different. Like that's totally different. So that's why you need an intercession. You need an intercession for your holiness because you believe you're this flock of thoughts and reflections and interactions and concerns. Like literally you glue and cement your world together by it. You do that in order to have at least some idea about yourself. And you have started to believe it, so you defend it too. Now you don't want to let go of it temporarily. You don't want to let go of it because it's all that you think you have. So that's why you need an intercession. It's like that needs to happen. It needs to be sliced open. It needs to be changed. Yeah, changed. It has to have an intervention, you could say, an out-of-time intervention into your setup, because the setup doesn't fly. It doesn't work. It hurts you. God is not an opinion. No, well, what do you mean? No. What do you mean, no? Oh, yeah, okay. So there's somebody responding in the audience. Does you... See, it's like... sorry. Even in the... I need to take a sip here. Even in your response to things. And... Oops. In the response to questions, or the response like, well, what do you say? Like I've seen this a lot with Master Teacher. Like you see, he asks a question, and now the first response in you, if it's directly posed to you, is a defense. Like, wait a minute, what are you saying? What did you actually say? Like now you want to have this confirmed, what he said, before you say yes to it. Now this is typically human. Like you don't openly receive it, but you will always dissect it, or you always research it first, analyze it first. You don't give it 100% trust. Now this is exactly the delay. This distances you from everything, and that's amazing. And you say like, well, I'm not afraid of love. No, I love to love. I'm this person that really loves to love. Yeah, until that happens, like you're directly confronted if you trust something or not, and you have to study it before you can say yes. That's all the defense that can possibly be. And it seems like a little subtle thing, but it isn't. It's like, no, here's the whole denial of it, and you feel that, and in the energy, for instance, in the sessions with Master Teacher, the energy that is there, you feel like the whole universe is looking at you and asks you to say like, are you with me, yes or no? And you say like, what did you actually ask? Well, can you rephrase that one more time, please? Or blah, blah, blah. All the defenses that you use as a human being. Like, in that moment, why can't you say yes? You know, like this. No, you always have to take another look. You always have to be sure that you can trust it. This is the doubt of the human mind. So in your first response, like, happens everything. Now you say like, well, that's not so important. It's like, no, then you just missed it. So this goes on and on and on. You see this in the talks with Master Teacher too. And because he brings things with so much energy that you feel basically personally assaulted when that happens, that confrontation happens. It isn't a confrontation, it's an invitation, but it looks, in the human eyes, it looks like a confrontation, because now all this power comes at you and it's going to like, well, what's your answer? And that's a total threat. If I do it like this, it's maybe a bit scary, but that's not what I mean. But you know what I'm saying. It's like, this is where it actually comes down to. This is where the part where are you open, yes or no? Are you here, yes or no? Are you like this? So you're not confronted with that in this way a lot of the times, but that's the only place where actually something can be pointed out for you. It's like, listen, here's something. Why not just say yes? Like, you can immediately accept what is given. If you know who you are, you would have no problem of receiving it. No, but here's the whole thing in this spiritual process is like, in order to accept anything that comes your way, even from my mouth, like even to accept one thing, you still consider something. Like, there can easily be a response of you that you start to consider, well, is that right what he says? Does it make sense? Instead of trusting where it comes from. Like, I'm not saying this because of my own opinion or anything. No, this is given to me to share with you. Now, are you willing to accept that? There's a very... And then you have an idea about it. That could very well be. It's like, I'm not sure. I don't even think that it's such a nice program. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to do something else. Okay. See, that is what happens. This is where you're a human being protecting himself from your own thoughts, from your own associations of thought. And this happens over and over and over until your mind becomes whole, until you discover there's no opposition, there is no opposing power, there is literally nothing to defend. There's no what if, or there's no assumption to be made. There's no, just go on and on and on. It's like, no, that is your ego mind. It is vicious. It is paranoia. It never completely can trust, only trusts itself. If you recognize that as part of you, here's something to learn, and you should definitely listen to this talk of Master Teacher, because that goes on and on and on, and it's nicely covered in your own mind, nicely covered so that it's not too obvious, but it's there for sure, like for the certainty and security of yourself, just to make sure. All right. Then nothing happens when you do that. Nothing happens. Absolutely nothing. You can have great ideas about yourself, but nothing happens. That's all. Are you willing to learn? If you are willing to learn, you will have to listen. Like you have to open your ears to listen. And that means a whole open attitude. Otherwise you know it already. If you know it already, I have nothing to tell you. Because you're not even able to listen then. So this we encounter in the process. That's simple as that. So it takes a moment before your ears really open up and you become receptive. And you see, you allow this interception because you need it. You have no choice any longer but to receive this for yourself. All right, so I'm going to turn on the tape. Thank you so much for listening to this so far, and I'm looking for the video and set it up. Thank you so much.
There's a couple of things going on here, but I'm not interested in, obviously, the attraction that this enlightenment has on the locale, except to the extent where I would be able to put a whole form light into it. I could care less. You see, my object would be hopefully that association, I'm talking to who I got a whole mind here, that say Malcolm could work through the idea that he's accomplishing something, which is all I teach. Whether he can or not will be a test of whether he can or not. I don't have anything to do with it. He's having I'll talk to you. He's having tremendous associations. As soon as he understands that he accomplished nothing, he'll be awake. He heard me, and that was the requirement. But obviously, she studied that in association with him and suffers from the same syndrome. If it is, I have no way of measuring it. You see, I took Mal because he's got a lot of energy. All right, Jake had the same problem, he still does a little. So we give them the mechanisms of the awakening. Wow, he is risen. It is accomplished. I'm doing it. Praise the Lord, the Son of God is risen. And actually, big freaking deal. I took a whole step. He might have heard that because he laughed. I mean, what's the big deal about waking up from your own shit being caused by you? You see? Okay, so you we call them, what you call them midshipmen. Okay. I call him a midshipman. So he throws his hat in the air. So he graduated last night, he threw his hat in the air, but he's an ensign. He doesn't, his assignment was only ensign to begin with. His assignment at that time was simply to awaken himself. And that's an ensign. Isn't it? I can't seem to get out of my military vernacular because it works so good. Obviously, he will be an ensign, won't he? He'll graduate. He had a hell of an accomplishment. He woke himself. But an ensign sees immediately that waking himself was nothing. He may go up and sit with the big guys then. Obviously, he'll go and sit at the bottom of the table because he understands he really hadn't done anything. If he gets another assignment, he could get this assignment, whatever the hell this is. This has nothing to do with his own awakening. He's already experienced that. Now he has to come into this conflict and try it. That's an entirely different thing. Okay. In the recapitulation, we're getting all of the different associations. Okay, we're getting the associations, and because I'm just sitting here, we're getting associations, obviously, the tinkers that have absolutely no intention of getting this. Not any. Not any. They're never going to get it. You can see them if you really look. I'm not doing any identification here. I'm telling you how it is. Okay, they will remain in that plastic identity of themselves. I'm concerned about. The reason I'm not talking this way now is obviously because I got a cadre. I've got awakened minds. You don't think so? You got to take a look. And a lot of you can feel that. Okay. So I always end up now doing what? Addressing the individual association. That is to see if there's a residual, okay, in the body identities Okay. That can transcend the slow time that they're in. I could use Abdul. Okay. What would be the best way to handle the mission? Obviously, it would be having the most denied association perceptually enter into it. Let's use Perry, who was that. Okay, Perryism. If he could evolve an idea of what this course is, he would be the most advantage to us. Okay. Obviously. Because he's in total denial of it. The requirement wouldn't be that he went into light, but that he saw that Perry is the falsity, which is so fundamental. But you think that's fundamental, yet look, when I tried to teach it yesterday, the obstacle I get to it. That the self-identity is what the obstacle is, right? Right? No, that's easy. Yeah. We're contained within the self, isn't that so? The subtraction of the reality and the use of the power of the God mind to establish the concept. Isn't that so? That's what we're doing. Boy, is that individual, huh? And not in your own mind. Huh? There's this, when you put this energy into it, okay, there's all sorts of junk. The world is junk, you know. Okay, I mean, light is light, dark is dark. The definition of the association of the darkness or the correspondence of death to life is what the problem is, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And you guys are always being tested. I'll tell you why you're tested. You're always tested by the phenomena of your own experience in your process. That's what will always tempt you. Do you see that? I know Jesus calls it temptation, and it sure as hell is, and it can be very dramatic. Christ, even to Christ the Lord is risen today, hallelujah, I rose up from the tomb. I have no doubt about that. I mean, that's a phenomenon, because the resurrection, in the essence of its comparison with reality, is a phenomenon, isn't it? All we can say about it is it's the maximum phenomenon, right? Because it's the disappearance of the earth altogether. And that's the paradox. He is risen, and therefore the earth is gone. Okay, the shout, I am the Son of God, is the last shout that's ever made. Then obviously you're gone. I can't use you anymore. You may return then in another form. You may say it's finished, and that's all well and good. But you know immediately that it was an accomplishment. And the way that you know in your mind it was an accomplishment is because the world is not real to you. Therefore, you could not possibly have accomplished anything. You're entirely separate from it. Now, I know you're hearing this in the perceptions of it, but I'm teaching you to the reality of it. And just as certainly when you have that experience, you will be whole, won't you? And you'll teach yourself. You'll teach your child. Mal, at this point, needs to measure himself, okay, against some other minds just exactly like yours that are awake to see whether you are. Any of those guys, because that's really what you are, Mal. And that way you won't say somehow that you've done something that isn't everyone else hasn't done. That being said, you're very valuable. And you know that. You'll have a tendency to make you humble instead of Randy. You say, holy shit. Yeah, oh yeah, real noticeable. You want to see some gratitude. See, those guys stay in gratitude all the time. They have no feeling of accomplishment at all. All they got is gratitude. It's just gone. I mean, that when you sit with God, all right, that takes care of that. That takes care of the idea that you use some sort of mechanism to get to it. I mean, it's gone. I can't tell you what that is, but I can tell you when it's gone, it's gone. Isn't that so? Anybody who sees the light would never take credit for his association with the light, would he? I don't know, why would he? He couldn't possibly. Why? He has nothing to compare himself with. It's an interesting, you'll notice that because it's the end of time for me, the more shamanistic I'm presented with, the more human I will appear rather than mystical.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? You could hear that, really. Could you hear that? Did you hear that, what I just said, Lisa? See, when you're presented with a lot of when I'm presented with a lot of demonstration, I have a tendency to assert the solidness of me. Because the demonstration is not what the answer is. All whole minds will do this. Okay? I just sit here and pick my nose. I'm not at all concerned about your phenomena. Can you see that? Okay. Some of you can see it. So I'm treating you just like humans because we are human. And we can't help it if we're divine. Well, I know, but otherwise we'll stay in the demonstration. It's amazing. Isn't that amazing? I don't question the Son of God as being whole. What the hell? I don't doubt you a bit. That's why you needed me. I have never doubted you. Okay? You are inclusive in my mind as a whole Son of God. A real thing. It never made any difference what you did to demonstrate how good you were at contacting God. Didn't it? How good you were at prayer, or how good you were at diet, how good you were at loving, how good you were at all of the human aspects of yourself to demonstrate your spiritual path, your acumen at the contacting of spirit forces that will somehow heal your body. That's all nonsense, guys. This is the whole Course in Miracles. That's not, I'm going to tell you, it's nonsense. You put on weirdo God. Did you see the weirdo? Bless their hearts. There's death healers, we call them. Shaman healers. They came here last night. I wish they would come here. They're fun. They're really fun. It's satanic. It's not satanic because it's evil. It's satanic because it depends on dark association to enlighten without enlightening. Yes. Which? I love it. See, there's nothing that's really easier to work with than a dark witch, because it's using all of its energy anyway. But the difference in a whole mind would be very noticeable. So a witch obviously is going to depend on the use of that power to heal the dark body, rather than to enlighten the dark body. And it will use the light of the association to heal the dark body. They're healers. I already know about them. They're healers, right? So they wear black clothes and long things. and skulls as representing healing. It's an astonishing idea. They heal death. Okay? When you heal, do you hear what I just said? You heal death, and that's what death is. The healing of death. You got it? Yeah. Good for you. I mean, life doesn't have to be healed, does it? So life is letting go of death, not healing it. You can't heal death. I wish they were here. They heal death in order to keep it dead? I know, you really are good, amazing. See, my mind is real lucid. But it's just funny that they will do that. And all of the spells and incantations, there's a lot of it in Sedona, they're getting shaman energy. They're making appeal to God using the forces of God in their own associations with themselves. It has great value because it's the initial contact with... Somebody was howling at the moon here last night. I love them. But howling at the moon is not really what I'm teaching, am I? Huh? I mean, man has been howling at the moon since he first invented God. Since he first felt God in his own mind, he's been howling. Oh, do you see all the forms of this? There's lots of it here. Is that okay? Sure. Okay. You got to be careful with demonstrations. They lose their spontaneity. That's what witchcraft is. This is in the teacher's manual. I didn't mean to get into a talk here. Do you understand that? You can't depend on the cult if you don't have a whole mind. You only end up faking it, which is what they're doing. They don't even have energy, they're just faking. Sometimes you'll meet somebody with real good energy. I really like that. There wasn't any energy there. If you meet a dark one with good energy, it's fun for me. And I go, and he goes, and I go, he wins wins in losing, okay? I lose to win. I don't need that. But see, what happens is it has the initial phenomenal experience. And then from then on, it begins to reduce. And finally, it just becomes going, and even the medicine men lose their energy. I love medicine men energy. So we got a sickness on the Navajo reservation, and the medicine men don't have any energy. You see it? And that's all? That's sad. That's too bad. How did I get into that talk? I gotta stick with what I'm doing here. Who's this coming? Who's that, dear one?
That sounds like Jay and...
Did we hear you last night?
Yes. And then Roger. Oh, that's Roger and Tori from Salt Lake City.
Oh, that's good. So some by fire, some by flood, each in his own way comes here and decides what he wants to do. I can't do anything about it. But that decision, what you want to do, is, is yours. There ain't anybody can do that for you. Are these Course in Miracles people? See, I get all different sorts of kind of people that come in. People. Everybody, they're people. Isn't that fun? People, welcome people. People, see the people? As long as he doesn't say, my name is so-and-so, we'll be okay. Those of you who will be teaching the course, well, I'm going home here tomorrow, so that we have understood the fundamental teaching. Dear one, you, right over there, stay over in there rather than there. You got too much false proximity. Excuse me. You almost heard that. Yeah, that's better. See how nice that works?
Yeah.
See, you want holy relationships. Stay apart and then you can have them better. Hey, that's an awful thing. Did you hear that? Because the relationship isn't here, it's here. So you try to get close together and you call it a relationship, and actually not. It's a specialization and separation. Isn't it? Well, that's what humans do. So it seems like love, but actually just form out in between you. Because, that got closer just then. They couldn't see it, but I could see it. That's what I do, bring them together. Hi. I'm going to end up with a talk here. I'm all through talking. I'm going home, and that's what... The time is up, and I came out here just to tell everybody the time is up. I won't worry about it. It's not Armageddon or anything. The world isn't going to collapse, and there aren't going to be big earthquakes. But the original time section of A Course in Miracles is up. Remember where Jesus says there's a time allotted? Well, that time is up. How do we know it's up? A sufficient number said it's up. That's what's happened. It's happened back in Wisconsin. There's a sufficient number are saying time is up. And as soon as the sufficient number said time was up, I'm allowed, see, feel it? I'm allowed to let time be up. It's a phenomenal happening. They've convinced me that their time, yeah, that's nice, thank you. He didn't get it, but that's what's happening. So if a sufficient number can convince their teacher their time is up, the time will be up. I'm the teacher. But you're going to have to, I don't know where you're hearing this, See, we're all doing this out of time together anyway. And I obviously am doing anything but the DI. All I'm doing is showing you that you're out of time. Well, when a sufficient number are out of time, they will simply speak to the original association and say the time is up. It has nothing to do with me. It has to do with their time being up. They are that association. Your time is up. What does that mean? Your time is over. Big deal. I know that some of you would consider that fearful still, but it's over. Okay? The world is ending. I always like the guy with the placard to say that Christ is coming and the world is over. You know why? He was right. He did come and it is over. You walked around, remember? The guy still walked around with a sandwich board and he said, the resurrection, the world, the end of the world is here. He was right. The end of the world is here. So this is not really a lesson. This is a reminder if you care to hear it. There's a very rapid recovery occurring for many of you here now who suddenly have decided you want to recover perhaps from your disease. I don't know. You see, you obviously have your disease. You have the disease of identity. At the minimum, you're going to begin to teach the Course in Miracles, which I've refused to do. The admission that you are suffering from humanism is what the Course in Miracles is. You won't somehow separate out your whatever you think you are from whatever you think you are, and you realize that the teaching is whatever you think you are is the problem. Questions? No? You have no question. Good. That means that you've admitted that whatever you think you are is the problem. That way you don't have to think about it because it's going to be a problem anyway. But I'm teaching the Course, but just as obviously, someone has told you you're supposed to, in your conception, tell the difference, for example, between the Holy Spirit and the ego. That's absurd. That's absurd. No, that's not what the Course is. Here's a guy, I forget the guy's name all the time, that's teaching in my opinion. I have never seen an association so successful at removing himself from himself. I know you don't hear that. Some of you actually think that Robert Perry teaches the Course in Miracles. He didn't teach the Course in Miracles. He teaches opinion. He says, in my opinion. He has removed himself entirely from himself and is basing his reality on his opinion. Well, his opinion is not what he is. No, you don't hear it. Isn't that funny? The whole basis of the projection is the original idea which formulated a have association in the mind. You have thoughts. That's the problem. No, you can't hear it. I'm not going to give it. But if you see that the Course in Miracles is the self-identity. If there's any problem in the universe, it's Perryism. Well, you go ha-ha, or humanism, or Joe Dokesism, or atomism. Not only does the Course explain it beautifully, but it lets time enter into it. Okay? An opinion, obviously, is a projected association, because it's about something. Okay? Now, the reflection of that opinion, projected, comes back, doesn't it? But what can it come back to? Nothing, because the thought that had it is gone. I'm teaching a course here just for a minute. Maybe you can finally hear this. Okay? The thought that had it is gone, right? So it comes back and gets a reflection of the original thought. This is the idea you've been a liar from the beginning, dumb, evil one. You're a liar from the beginning. I'm doing it right out of the book. Simply because the thought you originally had is gone, which was the projection that put you outside. Now, what have you got? You get the reflection back, and it comes back to what's already gone. Now, it lives in its association of its own perceptual thought. Could you hear that? Answer me. I'm asking you a question.
Yeah.
Could you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Don't defend your ass. I'm just talking to you. I understand that you're doing that. That isn't hard. I know you're doing that. Isn't that funny? This is not, I don't expect you to solve it immediately, but I do expect you, if you're going to do the Course in Miracles, to admit that the problem is the conceptual association. Isn't it? Now, here's how easily it's solved. What power are you using to do that? The universal power. No or not?
Yes.
The beingness of you, right? I mean, this is all, the Course is full of it. You can't deny who you are. We have universally, everything is one single power, isn't it? Huh?
Yes.
So you use that power, right?
Right.
To formulate your conceptual reality and live between your thoughts. That's the ego. That wasn't hard. Hey, Ralph, are you okay? Got a little problem there. You'll be all right. Your body's undergoing a big doopy change. It's a physical thing. See how simple the solution is? If you actually looked at this, you'll solve your problem. I'll save you 10,000 years. In the Course, Jesus says your problem is your preoccupation with your historic reference to yourself. It couldn't possibly be real, because God is not an association of thoughts. God is not an opinion, is he? Is he? Answer me.
No.
Well, what do you mean no? Does you have to study it? Obviously, God doesn't have an opinion about himself. He is himself, just as you must be that. So if you got a loony who says, in my opinion, who's going to give you an overview of the Course in Miracles, okay? He has successfully removed himself entirely from it. Obviously, he's the Son of God because everything is. Instead, he has become what? His opinion. And he will say that. He says, in my opinion. Now, he protects himself from what he really is, which is a living Son of God, and depends on his opinion to formulate himself. That's called loonyism. Okay, loony? Can you get that? Why is it loony? It's an association of a thought projected back to a thought that's gone. Well, what are you nodding your head at me? Well, this is a Course in Miracles. Okay? Why do you need an intercession? Because you're using the power of your own mind to formulate yourself between yourself. Now, if I can get you to teach that, I'm leaving. See, we're in. We have enlightened minds, guys. No, you're not. Obviously, you're going like this. Well, all that's happened is somebody initially, Christ, Jesus, let enough of himself, the reality of him, come into his thoughts so he no longer could hold his thoughts apart, which is obviously what the humanism is. You see how simple this is? It's a tragedy. It's a funny tragedy for an ego, a human conception, to teach it can tell the difference in his thoughts. That's what you've been teaching. If you don't feel frustrated by that, you don't belong in this room. I was frustrated by that when I was 12. I got a guy like suffering Perryism or humanism that teaches I can distinguish one thought from another. Well, obviously, that's what perception is, isn't it? Answer me. I'm asking you, that's what perception is, right? You can tell the difference in your thoughts, right? Okay. Now, what's your problem?
False identification.
Well, no, but you. It's not a false identification, it's what you are. See, that's the step that you got to take. Ralph took it. So the solution will be there. That's what this said. A loony will tell you that the Course teaches that you can tell the difference in your thoughts, that you could really tell the difference between Holy Spirit, which is one of your concepts, and ego, which is another concept. That's exactly the opposite of what the Course teaches. Come on, teachers. The Course teaches that all conceptual associations are gone and unreal, doesn't it? Huh? Well, you keep nodding your head at me. That's why I get to go home. Can you get it? I'm being real soft with you guys, and the reason I'm not challenging you is I've already got what I need. I don't care whether you hear this. The problem is the more that get it, the more that get it. Can you get this? So the veil got opened, and now it's just going wild. Because it's like, the 100th monkey. I don't care, teach it any way you want, but somebody heard it. And since all of the associations are really the same, aren't they? They're all in different time associations. The light gets in, and it's a contagion. Okay, why is it a contagion? It's nothing but a loss of the association, which is the falsity. Love is letting go of fear. Did you see that? You actually heard what the Course in Miracles teaches. Maybe you didn't. You're studying it. See, as soon as you study your association, you can't love because you don't know who you are and you got yourself caught in your own timeline. Okay? You know the astonishing thing about a teacher that teaches that, and removes himself? He doesn't offer the miracle at all. I'm using Perry as an example. There's no miracle in it. There's no transformation. There's no mention of the capacity of healing. There's no mention of miracle. All it is a study of that and that. It's absolutely meaningless. That's why I like it so much. It's so idiotic that even the loonies can see it. Can you get that? Huh? I mean, the mind is loony. There's no doubt about that. That's the whole teaching of this. But when a loony mind removes its own looniness from itself and teaches that and that, okay, literally, Jesus calls it double loony. He needs a miracle just to get him back into a condition where he can admit that he's the cause of this. He is not anywhere in his teaching admitting that he's the cause of it. He is only saying, in my opinion, and that's the falsity. Got that? Okay. Now, teachers of God, what can you do with a human mind? Okay, because obviously we are dealing with what we are determined to assert as an impossible situation. That is a perceptual mind in the association with itself to keep its own identity. Let's use this association, okay, as a human, okay? This is a human being, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you define yourself as a human being, right? Why?
That's my experience.
Yeah, but you define yourself.
Yeah.
That's a falsity. It says that in here. Question? Ask a question. I didn't. You agreed with me. Isn't that nice? I got somebody who will agree that he's a human being. That's quite an accomplishment. Because if I can get you to agree that you're a human being, I can get you to examine within your mind why you would want to be a human being when there's obviously no solution contained within your own conceptual reality.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, of course, because you're freaking frustrated because you can't solve the problem in your own mind. That's how we all got here. Right? We've made at least somewhere, okay, we have felt the frustration of death, the frustration of no matter what we do in our own conceptual associations, the problem is not solvable, although we are very successful in solving it temporarily. I associate generally with people who have been very successful in solving it temporarily because I was more successful than anyone in the universe at solving it temporarily. Because my range would keep getting broader and broader, and I would solve the problem contained within my own self. And obviously that was not the solution. And I ended up not being able to, realizing that I couldn't solve the problem. The moment that I realized that I couldn't solve the problem was solved, and I began to grow in the certainty that I couldn't solve it. That's my teaching. You see? So I solved it. This is the whole. I'm doing the Course in Miracles. I couldn't do it any more plainly than I'm doing it. I came to know, and you must come to know, that the problem is not solvable. The more you come to know the problem is not solvable, what? Give me the answer. What will you do? Not try to solve it. Not let go of it. You can't let go of it in your own mind. You will simply not try to solve it. And I'm teaching undoing here. The moment that you don't try to solve it, okay, it may not be solved in the manner in which you thought it should be solved, but it will be solved in the most efficacious manner in the particular continuum of association in which you find yourself. That's an astonishing idea. It's a very advanced teaching, but it's a true statement. Since you have made the image in the first place in your own mind, so you went by that. You forgot that you are the cause of the problem, which is what I just said to you. So there's no real problem except where? In your mind. Is that so? Yeah. See, you might start to hear this. I mean, obviously the problem is not out there. You kicked it out there. Okay. Got a reflection back, didn't you? You don't mind that. What you don't like is when the reflection came back, you were already gone. So you're living in this is lesson number 8 in the workbook. So you're already gone. This is Perry. He has now removed himself. It seems weird. He's got all the power. He has completely removed himself from the association and is dealing with his own goneness. Okay? Can you get this? Lesson number 8? Nobody really sees anything. No, you can't get it? You don't see anything. You brought your own godness into here. You like to think that you came into this door with an identity that gave identities to this, even if you thought that somehow you got the idea, yes, I made this. What you must see is the you that thinks it made it is also gone. Then you can hear me. Because it's a fact. This is lesson number 10 in this. Jesus says you're really not seeing anything at all. That's a fact. You can't see. What do we call that when we say that? You're an image maker. You make images within your own dream, don't you? Isn't that fun? Okay. Well, how am I going to get out of doing that? Okay, ask me that.
How am I going to get out of doing that? Making images.
You can't. You are the image.
So what is there? Surrender?
I'm not answering the question for you. I'm just giving you the problem. Obviously, saying what is there surrender is not surrendering.
That's a fact.
I'm glad you see that. So we're talking action of the mind, aren't we? Good. So we don't have to observe the surrender. We must, this Course in Miracles, we must participate in the release of the necessity for the correspondence of our perceptual mind, which is non-communicative. Somehow that association still believes, obviously, that it can communicate with its own images. Outside of itself, and formulate a form reality based on the separation of its own mind. Some of you might really hear this. I'm going home. I'm teaching this book. Okay? What it must come to know is, and here's the most difficult step of the Course, okay? This is not real, and this is not real. Somewhere between these two objects is the totality of what it is, not in any of this relationship, simply what everything is. Okay, you got that? Was that too obscure? Okay, well, let's try it physiologically, because a lot of people like the new teaching that they don't use their mind, okay? The cortex, the new mind, like I'll use your head. Okay, you're not using your head, right? You're 80% of the new brain you don't use at all. That was the latest statistic, right?
I don't know.
Well, read about it. It's in your own head. See, we have the reptilian brain, which is and then we have the conceptual brain, which is the human being. And he makes decisions, doesn't he, based on what's a nice book? There's a couple nice books in this book. He makes decisions based on what, Jesus says? His own memory, doesn't he? Right?
I guess.
Well, what are you talking about? It's genetic, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're a genetic code association. So he's making decisions based on his own species, right? Is that too hard to admit that your conceptions are of your own association? That's what you teach everything that's here, don't you? Aren't humans conceptual associations of their own memories? That's the civilization of man. There's nothing complicated about this. I'm telling you what humans are, aren't they? Huh? They formulate concepts, okay, in association with other concepts, right? That's the way you think. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to think, right? So you have a concept of yourself, right? And you are taught to have a concept of yourself. Isn't that so? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what it says that in this book. Isn't that lovely? Now you're a concept of yourself, okay? And you share concepts of associations in your own memories of what you are with each other in your own memories, right? That's what a human being is, right? Okay. Now, what can I do for you? See, what you don't understand is I'm not questioning your humanness. You feel that I'm threatening your humanness. I'm not threatening your humanness, except perhaps as the fourth law of chaos, and as what you would call the fourth obstacle to peace. It would be very obvious to any reasonable mind, and it was obvious to me when I was 14, that the human existence was fear being held together by its association. I was told that was life was. Okay, and I was told that God was also fearful, but he had a better hold on his association with himself and could give me a better answer to my own problem. But when I demanded he give me a total answer, he wouldn't give me one, and that pissed me off. Because if he was going to be God, the least he could tell me is what I would do in order to be perfect. And this is the dilemma of being a human being, but I can't answer it for you. What is the conceptual mind doing? He's inventing God. It's expressed beautifully in the Course. I mean, you had to know the solution because you invented God to give you the solution. That's not the problem. The problem is that the God you have is based on First Covenant, or your association with yourself, or your distance between your cause and the effect. I'm not going to give the talk. I've given it since the beginning of time. Because time was when it needed to be taught. Okay? Until then, you didn't need to know this. Obviously, you believe you're an establishment caught between your own thought forms. The form will never be real, never was. I'm dissolving you into the wave and destroying your particle mind association. That's the quantum physics way to look at it. As long as you can hold a static condition of memory in your own mind, you feel secure. Okay, so you use the power of God, which was a unifying force field, which is the Holy Spirit, okay, to bring together the lumpiness of your own thought forms contained within here, and you base your identity on your distance between your own lumps. Can you hear that at all? Just like you do with if Jesus teaches you, look through your lump. Can you hear it at all, what I'm doing? The mind, if you construct a solid condition, you will have that in your own mind, and you can't see. Jesus says you do it all the time, and you can't see through it. Because you're getting a reflection of your own lumpiness. Isn't that so? Huh? Can you hear that? I'm just trying to surround you with it a little bit. Jesus really teaches it. You see, there's no question you've located yourself in a lumpy condition of potential in time, haven't you? Okay? And you've got a reflection of lumps going on. You're real deep in space, and it's chaos, isn't it? It's real thick. When it gets the thickest, it's a black hole, isn't it? It's so thick, there's no distance between the lumpiness. That's impossible. Okay, can you hear this? So there's no distance between, when there is no distance between the lump, which is what the potential is, it immediately becomes whole again. I'm describing the great reversal to you. I'm describing the Big Bang. So obviously, Jesus would say, this is at the time when the atonement begins, at its most lumpy association. It's called the Great Reversal. All you're really doing is starting to remember where you really came from. Okay? Because until then, you will believe that you come from here, from Earth, really. You believe in your own mind that you come from your own thought form associations, won't you? How would you not? You do come from that. Forgetting that originally there was no lumpiness. And the moment that the lumpiness appeared, it disappeared. Who hears me? I'm teaching it out of the book, but I'm giving you a little broader range of it. Okay, if you try to escape from heaven, you could only go down into the lump of what heaven is, because it is everything. Okay, at that moment you returned and were gone. So what we're saying is this is what's going on all the time, right? This is the Course in Miracles now. Each moment you relive that moment when you went into your lumpiness and came out. Isn't that so? Everybody agree? That's what you are, a condition of your time association. Got it? Do you see that? What are you using in order to think? The potential of your own mind. Aren't you? Yeah. Not only are you using it in your concepts, but you depend on that potential to be you. Don't you? Huh? You're having your memories of your own thoughts, isn't it? And you remember that. Huh? Isn't that nice? Everything remembers what it is by its own memory association with its own thoughts. That's what's wrong with that? Nothing. Nothing. I don't know. Where did it come from? It came from a lumpiness. Huh? Earth. It came from a potential. That's nice to know you can do that.